Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of the viewers from around the world. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of correlation and regression analysis, I will be taking you through the relative strength and weaknesses of various instruments under the given class. We will be comparing the currency crosses amongst the forex markets and for commodities we will also be considering the light crude oil and the Brent. And when it comes to the equity markets, we will see how the equity indices are faring as we are getting closer to the start of US trading session. So let us now go to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. Here we have this Euro USD chart open for us with the range being drawn for the 2 hours and 4 hours. And on the chart, you can also see the moving averages. These are drawn for 2 hours and 1 hour with candle period defined at 5 minutes, and this total calculation period first for is 12 and for second this is 24. So in all we have the moving average price for 1 hour and 2 hours here. Now, coming to the main analysis, when we are talking about the correlation, we have to see how the various instruments under the given class of financial instruments are faring and then compare what the trend is, and with this we can determine which is the strongest one and which is the weakest one. So first thing first we do is let's take a look on the Euro USD. And on the Euro USD, you can notice that the trend is strongly bearish. We have this momentum on the bearish side, which is prevalent since the start of European trading session, and here it had gone on to decline almost 100 pips from this day's high to the day's low, and afterwards it entered into a consolidation phase. So here this decline started earlier in the day at around 5:30 GMT, and then some retracement was there. After that, this second leg of the downturn started at 8 GMT, and it has continued onwards. Now, let's see what has happened in other currency crosses of the similar nature, where the dollar has strengthened and other currencies have weakened against the dollar. So for determining which is the strongest and which is the weakest, we will have to compare all these currencies where dollar is the base currency, dollar is the second currency, common currency for all these crosses. So if we now look at the GBP USD, this decline started earlier than the Euro USD at 7:45 GMT. For Euro USD, it was 8 GMT. So here the decline, the GBP decline started earlier and it has continued in similar fashion. Even now, the GBP USD is making lower lows, whereas the Euro USD has now entered into a consolidation phase. So that is a major difference here. Now let's see what is happening in other currency crosses. AUD USD is also looking at some possibility of retracement on the higher side. And here the decline started at 7:55 GMT. That means later compared to the compared to the GBP USD, but earlier than Euro USD, and we can observe the impact still in the chart, where now after forming this fresh low after Euro USD, it has gone on to form a new high, 4 hourly high as well. So this is the instrument which is in between in terms of the strength of the bearish tendency in current scenario. The Euro USD is weakest on the bearish side and GBP USD is strongest on the bearish side. Let's see what's happening in NZD USD. The NZD USD is slightly weaker compared to the AUD USD and GBP USD and in line with the Euro USD. But Euro USD gone on to make a fresh 2 hourly high much earlier compared to the NZD USD. So in that sense, the NZD USD is weaker than the Euro USD. Now coming to other USD crosses, if we look at the USD CAD, the USD CAD has yet to make a low on the 2 hourly side, and we have to invert the scale for the currencies where the USD is the first currency and the base currency is CAD, CHF or JPY, and after inversion then we can do the comparison. So for this, the USD CHF is seemingly on the weaker side compared to the USD CAD. And if we take into account the USD JPY, the USD JPY seems to be in retracement mode, consolidation mode, and it has made this 4 hourly high, sorry, 4 hourly low much earlier compared to the other currency crosses. So if we compare NZD USD in that, it happened at 16 GMT, but for USD JPY, it happened much earlier at 15:35 GMT, and for Euro USD, it is yet to happen. So if you are betting against the strength of the dollar, in that case, I think USD JPY will stand out as a natural peak, as we are seeing that the JPY is being stronger compared to other currencies, and it has to some extent been able to manage the strength of the dollar, and it is now entering into a consolidation phase. But if you are betting with the strength of the dollar, if you expect the dollar to remain strong and continue to get strong, in that case, the GBP USD stands out as a natural choice in this scenario, as it is still in deep into the negative side, still deep into the bearish momentum, and we have this continuous formation of lows, and it is not showing any retracement side. So here, using the correlation analysis, you can make your informed choice for both the scenarios. If you expect the dollar to remain strong and continue to rise against other currencies, then for US trading session, I think GBP USD should be the currency of your choice. GBP USD should be shortened, and if you are expecting consolidation phase, start of the consolidation phase, in that case, the USD JPY seems like a natural choice for any retracement move, consolidation moves against the dollar. Now let's see what is happening in the equity section, where we will be comparing these three equity indices, US equity indices, and also we will see the equity indices for Europe. So if we now compare these three equity indices, we have similar kind of trajectory for US equity indices. Here, this decline started at around 8.5 GMT, and it is more or less similar for all these three equity indices, the S&P 500. Okay, so we now consider the DAX, which is the Germany's equity index, and there also the decline started at around similar time, but later compared to the US equity indices, and then it had also made some consolidation moves, which can also be interpreted as a consolidation phase momentum. And after that, when it went on to make a fresh 4 hourly low, it was well past 10 GMT. So from this, you can make a assessment that if it comes to the bearishness prevalent in the equity segment, then for new short selling opportunities, the choice should be amongst three key equity indices for US and not the DX. But if you are looking for some retracement, possible retracement move, in that scenario, the DX can also be considered, or else we can even consider other equity indices, what is happening in UK, FTSE, or CAC 40, France. So let's consider the Euro 50 index as well. And for Europe, here the start was quite late. It went into a decline quite late. 2 hour low was made at 12:45 GMT. And here you can notice that the magnitude of decline has been lowest for the Euro 50 index. And let's see what has unfolded, what the momentum is for FTSE 100. So this is the UK's FTSE 100, and here the trajectory has been rather invert of what we are observing in US equity indices, and it has entered into a rising mode, and it has continued to rise, and it made this fresh 4-hourly high earlier in the day at around 11 GMT. After that, it didn't really look back on the lower side, and after this consolidation, we have again it resuming with momentum on the higher side. Now let's see what is unfolding in CAC 40. All right, it is here. Okay, so the momentum is still bearish for the CAC 40. So we have a outlier in form of FTSE 100, where the momentum is clearly on the opposite side of the spectrum, whereas for other equity indices, the momentum has been bearish. So in this case, if you are expecting this momentum, the bearish momentum to prevail, then the natural choice should be to short the any of three equity indices for US, which are pretty much trading today in tandem. It doesn't really happen every day. We have some lag where we see one of the equity index leading and one of the equity index lagging. But for today's session, more or less, we have similar kind of trajectory for all three key equity indices. But if you expect some corrective move, some consolidation phase to begin, and if you want to go against the trend, then FTSE should be your first choice for any new trading decision. So that's how you have to play this situation with the trend. Then in that scenario, the three equity indices of US are available to you for trading. And if you are betting against the trend, then I think it would be a better choice to go for the trade in FTSE 100, or in second choice, you can go and start look for some move on the DX 40 as well. Now let's see what is happening in commodity space. For that, we have to compare the Brent and the light crude oil price formation. So here we have again similar trajectory, bearish trajectory in the Brent as well. And if we look at the Brent price formation, this decline also started earlier in the day during the after the start of European trading session, and it has continued to decline since then. It went into a consolidation phase in the afternoon, but now it is again making fresh lows after having made this 4-hourly high. So if we compare this price formation with that of light crude oil, then we have to determine which is the weakest and which is the strongest. So here the 2-hour high for Brent was made at 12:20 GMT. So let's consider what is happening in light crude oil. For light crude oil, it was a similar story. So we go back in time and see which instrument made the low earlier. It happened at 25 GMT, and for the Brent, similar trajectory is unfolding. So in this case, we don't really have much of a difference. We have to compare the crossovers to figure out. In crossover, we get the idea that it was Brent, which is slightly weaker in bearishness, and light crude is more weaker, more bearish compared to the Brent. So that can be also assessed using this difference, where if we look at the magnitude of decline for the light crude oil, it is higher compared to what we are seeing or observing for the Brent. So using this analysis, we can make a informed guess that if we want to initiate the new short sell trade, then we are likely to be in a profit or have more opportunity, more probability of profiting if we are shorting the light crude oil instead of Brent. But more or less, the trajectory is similar. You might have only slight difference in terms of the magnitude for these two instruments. It is not that significant, but still I would prefer to short the light crude oil if I am going with the trend, and if I am going against the trend, in that case the natural choice would be to go for buying of these Brent crude oil. And now let us consider in metals and bullion, we have the gold and the silver. And these are not naturally correlated. Sometimes there is significant difference in the price trajectory, but let's try out and see how the things are unfolding for these two metals, two bullions. So here we had this downward trajectory bearishness prevalent in the silver. After that, it changed course, and now it is going on to make a new high, and it is trading closer to 1930 ounce per USD per ounce. And if we consider gold, gold is still bearish with this downward trajectory still holding, and it is yet to make a high, fresh high of 4 hourly time frame. So you can make assessment here that if you want to go short on any of these metals, then the gold would be a better choice for new short sale trades compared to the silver. So that's how you can utilize this correlation analysis. Now coming to the regression part, you can determine this average price moves and see where it is at the moment. So if we have like a large difference, large deviation from the average price for the current closing price and the last 24 hours average price, then we can bet on some retracement, some consolidation to take place, which might get the price action of the instrument of our choice closer to the average price. And after that consolidation, we can then start initiating new trades, new short selling opportunities can also be looked into. Now, if we compare these two instruments, gold and silver, the silver is seeing some buying momentum, which is getting it back closer to last 24 hours of average price. So it will be interesting to see if it enters into a consolidation phase or it changes the trajectory and starts to rise again. Right now, it is closer to this average price, and it is going to be an interesting thing, interesting development to watch out for. Now let us go back to the currency space and we compare. There's a Euro USD. Here also there was significant deviation, and now we are again seeing this inching back towards this average price of 12 and 24 hours. So for most of these currencies, the trajectory has been similar. The deviation is too significant for GBP USD, but still at the moment it is one of the weakest of all these currencies. So we have to be quite mindful and take the bait against it. If you want to trade with the trend, then GBP USD should be the first choice. And if you are betting against the dollar strength, then I think in that scenario, the USD JPY makes much more sense as it is approaching these average prices quite earlier compared to other currency crosses. So we have to then utilize this correlation and regression part and see on what levels we can expect the consolidation to take place, and which instrument in particular can be utilized for these given formations. So guys, that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write back to me in the feedback section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. For further coverage of the market developments, do check out the Dukascopy Analytics page. We are also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there too. For trying out this newly released trading platform, the JForex 4, the link has been included in the bio. So give it a try and let me know how it works out for you. So that's all from my side for today's session. I will be back tomorrow with how things are unfolding in tomorrow's session. So do come back. Thank you all for joining. Have a good time and good day. Goodbye.